Uh, hey, family, Tac Man, how's your spirit? Talk to me. Tell me something good. Ah, I got my background up. Oh man, you don't know how beautiful this. My motherfucking man, who's my technician, D Cap. Got me, man. This is beautiful. I love this. And what's crazy, I just bought a green screen, right? But they didn't send me the frame. They just sent me the curtain. So I was like, damn, and now I don't even need it. So, everything happens for a reason. But yeah, we got a good one tonight. It's healing to overcome social madness. Why why do people follow madness? That's you on there? Let me I'm trying to find something. They're not just and okay. Okay, do that, my brother. Okay, I'm gonna do that when I get off. Look at that. Why this is so important. First, let me say this. I need to acknowledge the emotional weight of the question. There's not just I'm not just asking for facts. I'm expressing concern about the state of the world. The core need here is validation of their perception that something is wrong, plus a clear, actionable framework to understand the contract on no understanding and counteract it. Now, right? Why people follow madness? This needs psychological and social mechanics. Key concepts: cognitive dissonance. Once invested, hard to admit wrong. Cultists. Tribal belonging. Identity safety over truth. Information overload. Seeking simple, clear lies. And emotional exhaustion. Passive acceptance. Examples are crucial, like vaccines, disinformation creating in groups or political scandals where supporters double down. Like they were saying, take this, take that, and people wind up dying. It's only through our adversities can we make change. Let me first, show y'all what this is about. This is my book, Through Adversity Comes Change. It is right there. Yeah, Through Adversity Comes Change by Rich Comer. It's on Amazon. Check it out. I guarantee you, it will make you think. It'll change your life if you do the program. The program is different, but it gives you some kind of understanding of what it's all about. Why healing is important and what happens without it. This is about consequences. Without healing, we get fractured societies. Let me say that again. Without healing, we get fractured societies. Hey, hey, how you doing? Um, where was I at? Sorry about that, y'all. Destroyed trust, wasted collective efforts on false crises, and perpetuated trauma like cycles of revenge. These are the things that we have and we go through when we are not healed. Positive examples of healing: post apartheid South Africa, Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or local community dialogues bridging political divides. Healing enables cooperation, shared reality, and progress on real problems like climate change and poverty. We as a people, right now, we're going through a crisis, but we're going to be all right. We're resilient. You know, um, there's been times in life when times were worse than this. So the whole thing is that we have to be strong. And this is why right now is the time for healing, learning the lies from the truth, so that we can come together collectively and build a network of healed people that can build businesses that everyone helps each other to eat, so nobody ever goes hungry, and we only shop and support each other. Imagine if that could get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to us 30, 40, 50 million, 100 million people, and we only shop with each other. We only sell to each other. We have all the businesses. Everybody has some kind of skin in the game. This is why I said it's only through adversity change takes place. We have to go through our adversities to make the changes. And it's a good thing that we're going through our adversities now so that we can make the change that we need to make in our life for the future, because our babies are up and coming. We got to make this world a better place for them. This is why I tell you this program has 5 principles, 3 articles, 1 healer. The healer is helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. And this is what life is about. It's not about evil. God loves, the devil hates, and I want us to be able to love each other, live with each other in peace and harmony. It's a beautiful thing, man. You know, being able to count on your neighbor. One thing that the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, peace and blessings be upon him. He said, if your neighbor's in fear when you're around, you're not a good neighbor. And if your neighbor's hungry when you're around, you're not a good neighbor. So we need to start being neighbors to each other and start loving one another and doing right thing by each other. And it's not hard. You know, a marathon starts with one step. You got to start with one step. And we just got to keep going from there. And the beautiful thing about it, I'm so happy that I have this platform to give this to you guys, because we need to heal. I mean, so much is going on in the world that if we were to just stop for a minute and learn how to be uncomfortable with uncomfortability, because right now we're comfortable with uncomfortability. If we can become uncomfortable with uncomfortability so that one day we can be comfortable with comfortability, and be dynamic in life and helping each other to live and grow and live in peace and harmony. Our babies are coming up now, and our babies are kind of lost. So we have to guide them back in the right direction and give them the love that they need. It's not about us no more. I'm not going to live 61 and a half more years. So I must give the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that I've acquired over all of the life's ups and downs and struggles and uh, things that I've gone through in my life, that might be able to help them so they never have to go through what I've gone through. And it's a beautiful thing when you can help others. This is my mission now. Like I tell you, I wasn't always good. I was always, kind of bad, because I've been in the streets since I was a young kid. And the sad part about it, I never had to. My mother owned 3 bars in a candy store, from 2 bars at one time, or one candy store, but three ball, and then she made great money, hundreds of thousands a year in the '70s, in the '80s. So I never had to be in the street, but it was because of my low self-esteem. As a kid, I was a little fat guy, and I wanted to be wanted by people that didn't really care about me and be around people and do things. Of course, I always had money, because my mother had money, So these are the things that you have to, go through in life. Hold on one second. What's up, baby boy? Walaikum assalam. What's happening? I'll put you on the podcast. Oh, you got your license? Oh, you got to pay them before you get your joint. Okay. So how much is it? So they gave you a license, the permit, pay them tickets. Yeah, no, they do that whenever you go to jail. Whenever you go in the feds, they suspend your license. No, that's what they do. Whenever you get locked up, they suspend your license. Uh, that's Peanut, uh, Nathaniel Watkins, better known as Nut. That's the cousin of Rich Porter from that era. He did 35 years in federal prison straight, and we was in the same unit for like 10 years. So that's Peanut. So I know quite a few people. Like I had the Detroit guys, I had the Virginia and and Pennsylvania guys. You know, I had the Florida guy. So like I said, I'm trying to expand this so it can be all over, not only all over the country, but all over the world, because we all need to heal, man. And it's very important that we heal. You know, it's really sad that we have to go through the kind of things we go through, but it's needed. These kind of things are needed for the simple fact that in order for change to take place, you have to go through adversities. This is why I tell you, it's only through adversities that you make change. Everybody has adversities. God gives each and every one of us adversities, and your adversities are different from mine. Yeah, one second, y'all. Go ahead. Uh, nah, you all right. You can talk. This is part of this is time on the podcast. We live. As I told him, I told him who you are, who you was. You know what I'm saying? You can speak to him yourself. Go ahead. Speak to the world. All right. Well, you gonna speak to your brother. Yeah, we can do that while I'm on there. Yeah. How was the trip? Okay. Yeah, cause I called you for June and I forgot. I was like, yeah, he done broke out already. Of course, what you would call Brian, not Brian, Kareem is like, yo, 'cause I told him we was going to Juma. He's like, yo, call me when you get over there. But then I forgot that you wasn't even coming. You went down there. I know that's right. And you got to go to Virginia, right? Okay. How do you think? Yeah, but this is why I say, like, why it's so important for change, for healing, and it's something that's not that deep, you know. It can be done, right? Why do people follow madness? The madness isn't random. It meets deep psychological needs that truth often fails to satisfy. All right, I got you, Bill. I got you. I got you. Like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Example: the need for belonging. In 2016, a small town in Ohio saw its factory close. Within months, a conspiracy theory spread that the closure wasn't due to automation or trade policy, but a secret cabal. People who never spoken to their neighbors suddenly formed a tight knit Facebook group. The theory gave them the community purpose and enemies. They followed the madness because loneliness is more painful than falsehood. And see, like you can't get stuck in a rut. You know, um, people get stuck in a rut and get caught up, and then this is how you wind up following madness. A next example: the comfort of certainty. During COVID-19, a nurse named Sarah lost her father. The official death count kept changing. Experts disagreed. In her grief and confusion, she found a TikTok count that explains everything with simple villains and a clear timeline. It felt solid, certain. People follow lies because uncertainty feels like drowning, and a false shore is still a shore. So, as long as somebody can grab on to anything, this is what they're going to do. And you have to understand that, you know, um, a lot of times people don't live in reality. So this is why you have to go through your adversities to make the changes. So you have to heal. You have to heal before you can do anything. So you can see clear. And once you heal and you learn the lies from the truth, you can never be lied to ever again. And this is my mission to help get people to let go of the past, come into the present so they can have a better future. Simple. You know, I don't make the rules, I just facilitate the message. Third example: identity protection. A lifelong environmentalist discovered his pension fund invested in oil. Rather than confront that betrayal, he spent hours debunking climate science he used to believe. He followed madness when the truth would require us to rebuild who we are. A lot of times people don't want to face the facts. A lie is sometimes sweeter than the truth, but they don't understand a lie stands alone. The truth needs no support. Or opposite, the lie needs no support. The truth needs help. What happens when you don't heal? You have to understand this. Healing. That's why I always, and I know you'll probably get tired of me talking about healing and being at peace and doing the right thing and loving and because that's how I feel. It's about love. It's about doing the right thing. It's not about any of the other stuff, man, because God is watching. He's taking count. Trust and believe that, you know. And when you start living a peaceful and better life, life gets so much sweeter. Trust me, I live a fantastic life. Like I said, I went from spending $1,000 a day on scratch tickets to using having $1,000 a month to pay my bills, and I still have money left over because I don't have habits no more. I don't have the desires that I had before, and that's the blessing. You have to always understand, man. God is always watching, so you have to be on your best behavior at all times. What happens when you don't heal? The spiral of mistrust. Rwanda, 1994. For decades, colonial powers had seeded lies about one group being naturally oppressors. Radio stations spread the humiliation propaganda. People who had once shared water wells turned on neighbors with machetes. Nearly a million dead without healing. Lies become permission to destroy. Kind of like with this fake war. Same principle. When people are not healed, they can be led. Sheep, the exhaustion trap. Look at any online argument about vaccines or elections. Notice how people stop citing evidence and start typing in all caps. This isn't stubbornness, it's burnout. When you've been lied to enough times, your brain stops disseminating between sources. Everything becomes suspect. Unhealed wounds make us vulnerable to the next lie, not resist to it. And this is one of the reasons why I said once we heal, we must learn the lies from the truth. Because if you don't learn the lies and you heal, they can still lie to you. You ain't gonna know the truth. So this is why it's so important. Once you're healed, you have to learn the lies from the truth. Now the world is your oyster, but you have to take the steps to do these things. Generational transmission. A father loses job to immigration. He thinks. He tells his son, they took what was ours. The son grows up angry at people he's never met. The grandson inherits the grievance as an heirloom. Unhealed pain becomes ideology, and ideology becomes identity, and identity becomes nearly impossible to reason with. And this is the progressive steps of people who don't heal. This is why healing is so important, especially for people who follow madness. You know, you say you know better, but you don't do better. So you don't know better. And as they say, you do better when you know better. Why healing changes everything. Healing isn't feeling better, it's recalibrating your relationship with reality. Post truth reconciliation. In South Africa, after apartheid, the Truth and Reconciliation Committee didn't punish. It created space for both victims and perpetrators to speak their lies and face the truth. Those who participated were satisfactorily far less likely to believe new conspiracy theories later. Healing restores your internal lie detector. And see, this is why learning the lies from the truth are important. The honest business. A tech startup was failing. The founder kept lying to investors, employees himself. When he finally stopped admitting the product was flawed and asked for help, his team rallied. They rebuilt honestly. They are now $100 million company. The competitors who keep lying are gone. Healing unlocks collective intelligence. Madness keeps you running in circles. And see, this is when you heal, you don't have time to make up stuff. To lie, you have to make up. It's not like this. See, facts don't lie. People do. And when you have to lie, it's It's crazy. When you have to lie, it's just madness. You're afraid of something. You know, it's like they say when a person has to lie, you're afraid of something. You have to go through this life understanding that there's nothing in this world that can do anything to you unless God lets it. And when you have that understanding, you fear nothing but God. The family that chose truth. A mother discovered her adult son was deep in online cult. She didn't argue facts. She said, I see you're scared. I've been scared too. Let's be scared together without the stories. Over a year, he left the groups, not because she won debates, but because she offered a relationship stronger than the lies grip. Let me say that again. Not because she won debates, but because she offered a relationship stronger than the lies grip. Healing creates alternatives that madness cannot compete with. What healing actually means here, it's not meditation that helps. Through that helps, though that helps. It's acknowledging you have been lied to and have lied to yourself. And see, that's a hard thing when you have pride and ego. And like I tell you, ego is easing God out. When you have pride, pride stops you from all kinds of things. It definitely stops you from the connection with the Most High. And that's what you want. You want to have a connection with the Most High at all times. Like I tell you, this program, five principles, three articles, one healer. The first principle is God. You have to have an understanding of some kind of creator other than yourself. Grieving the safety you thought you had. Rebuilding discernment slowly with patience. Choosing courage over comfort when truth hurts. Extending the grace to others so they can heal too. That's a big order to fill. A lot of people can't face them. And the only way you're going to heal is you have to face them. You have to be honest with yourself, no one else. So I always tell you, you can't heal until you can face that person in the mirror and be 100% honest with them and be cool with how you feel afterwards. If you got to cry, you cool with it, but you got to be 100% real with that person in the mirror because when you 100% real with that person in the mirror, it's nothing going to stop you after that. Because everything starts right here, everything ends right here. You make all your decisions in life. It's only through adversity change takes place. Your choices shape your adversities. Your adversities are your lessons to get you to your blessings. Simple. You just got to want to do it, and that's something a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid to come out of their comfort zone. But one day we going to get y'all. It's going to be a matter of time, but y'all going to come in. Trust me. The community that came together. Check this out. Why? It takes a community. And this is what we lost. We lost a community because it always said it takes a community to raise a child or to raise a people. We lost the village. Now we got to come back to the village. Check this out. In 2023, a small town in Oregon was split by a fake news story about a local election. The newspaper printed a retraction, but that wasn't enough. The mail held a truth potluck, no arguments, just people eating together and sharing one true thing about their lives. By the end, someone admitted, I don't know what's real anymore. And someone else said, me neither. Let's figure it out together. That's healing. And from that, they rebuilt the school board, their library, their trust. It's about building relationships. And when you heal, you can build relationships because you realize how important relationships are in life. Friendships are in life. We take friendships and relationships as something small. No, friendships and relationships are very important because it might be someone you have to depend on or someone that might have to depend on you one day. So friendships are sacred. Relationships are sacred. You might be a business deal that you want to do and you burn that bridge and that person tells another person, and that person tells another, and so forth and so now you blackball. You have to live right, and like I said, I lived on the other side for almost 50 years of my life doing wrong. And look what it got me, 28 years federal prison, having to go to a halfway house, having to go to a shelter, having to get on welfare. I never lived like that. Never. But that was because the choices I made. Like I said, your choices shape your adversities. Your adversities are your lessons to get you to your blessings. I made bad choices. I make good choices now. I work on this side with the most high, with God. And I'm not afraid to say that today. You know. He's first, I'm second. Period. And my peace is sacred. I let no one, I don't care who you are, family, friends, I let no one disturb my peace. And that's where I'm at in my life. And that's what peace gives you, peace of mind. I get to think, I get to create. Like I said, look, and 1 year after getting shot, I created a book, Through Adversity Come Change. My book is on Amazon. You know, I got a podcast. It's going to take time to build, but it's going to come. Everything in time. Through adversity comes change. You got to go through it to get to it. And it's a blessing to be able to go through it because when you do get there, you appreciate all you had to go through to get there. And like I always say, my old head from Jersey, Akbar Bray, he said this builds intestinal fortitude, character, you know. Go up the hill, go up slow, take your time. It's okay. Because shortcuts leave you short every time. Shortcuts leave you short every time. But when you take that hill slow, when you get to the top and God has them blessings for you, and while you going up that steep hill, He's shaping, molding you, and giving you the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the things that you're going to need when you get to the top of the mountain, so that you'll be able to be ready for what He has for you when you get there. That's the blessing. But you got to heal, learn the lies from the truth. Stop following madness. Use your head for more than a head rack. You know, they say common sense ain't common, but you got to start getting common sense again. The bottom line, we follow madness because it's easier than healing until it kills us. Or we go through what we're going through now. Gas is $5, food is up, everything is to the moon, and everybody's crying. Medicare's off, SNAP is off, WIC is off. Now everybody's crying. They don't want to follow madness no more. But these are the things. This is why. Healing isn't hard, slow, and humbling. That's what it is. Takes time. Through adversity comes change. Got to go through it to get to it. But without it, we will keep burning our own villages and calling it victory. What's going on now? A water. We started and lost in days. We following madness. And it's time for it to stop, us as a people. Because if we don't, our children are going to not have anything. It's going to be over. This experiment is going to be over. And we need to heal so we can make this earth and this world a better place. This is what it's all about. This is what this platform is. This book is about. This program is about. This podcast is about helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. Love is God. God is love. Love is the strongest force in the universe. It can make you the happiest and it can make you the saddest. It's up to you. It's up to you. And the beautiful thing about this, right? Prayer time. You know, and the sad part, right? Is so many people willing to accept the madness. There's so many people willing to accept the madness. And like I said, I just want us to heal. I just want us to build. I just want us to grow, you know, change our mindsets, live life right, love one another, and do the right thing. It's only through adversity change is going to take place. And just understand that everything God makes, He takes care of. Everything, you know. So you're going to be all right. You just got to put the work in. You can't be lazy and not put the work in. You know what I'm saying? You can't be lazy and not put the work in, because nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. So you have to put the work and understand that God got you no matter what. It's up to you to put the footwork in to get the things that you want out of life. Look at me. Just look at me. You know, I'm not successful as of yet with this, but I feel that I'm successful already because of what I've been through in this last year. A book, a podcast. I got a smart thermos that I'm trying to get done. So progression. Whenever you're alone and you feel like you're all alone, you're out in deep water. Just know that God took you there because He know your enemies can't swim, and He's taking you out there so you can use your head for more than the hat rack. Start looking at the forest for the trees. Look outside the box. And I guarantee you, once you start to look outside the box and use your head for more than a hat rack, life is going to get very, very good for you. But you got to heal first, learn the lies from the truth, and live your life a better way. This is Tac Man. Y'all have a blessed night because I have to make my prayers. I have to pray to God for me and y'all. So y'all have a blessed one. Peace out, y'all.